All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to explore an idea that sounds, well, completely backward in our hustle-obsessed world. What if the most productive thing you can do is absolutely nothing?
So I want you to just think about this question for a second. It really cuts to the core of the problem, doesn't it? We're all told to grind harder, to fill every single moment with purpose. But what if all that constant motion is actually the thing that's breaking us?
And just how deep does this burnout really go? Well, it's so deep that 41% of employees now admit to something called quiet vacationing. That means they are secretly taking time off while just pretending to be online, scheduling emails, keeping their status screen, all to get a mental break without being judged for it.
This really shows you the kind of cultural pressure we're all swimming in. We've created this world where even just basic rest needs to be camouflaged. We squeeze podcasts into our commutes and check emails during family dinner, and we pat ourselves on the back for multitasking. But underneath it all, our minds are basically waving a little white flag.
But here's the thing, it's not just about the external pressure of hustle culture. There's a much deeper, much more personal reason we avoid hitting the pause button. It seems we are genuinely afraid of being alone with our own thoughts. Now, take a second and honestly answer that for yourself. I know, it sounds like a completely ridiculous choice, right? But this was the exact question at the heart of a now famous study published in the journal Science back in 2014. And the results were, well, stunning. A really significant number of people, especially men, actually chose to get a mild electric shock over just sitting quietly in a room by themselves. I mean, this experiment just perfectly captures our profound discomfort with inner silence. And get this, one man in that study pressed the shock button 190 times. Let that sink in. 190. That's how desperate he was to have a distraction from his own mind. We're not just distracted, folks. We are actively running from something. But what if that nothing we're all running from is actually where the real healing begins? It turns out a still mind isn't an idle mind, not at all. In fact, it's doing some of its most important work.
So when all that external noise finally stops, your brain doesn't just power down. Nope. It activates this incredible system called the default mode network. The best way to think of it is like your brain's internal maintenance crew that only comes out to do their job when the main office is closed for the day. And this is the vital work that crew is doing. The DMN is where you sort through memories, where you process tough emotions, and where you connect seemingly random ideas. It's the hidden source of all those brilliant aha moments you get in the shower or on a quiet walk. This isn't emptiness. It's the very birthplace of self-awareness and creativity.
And look, this isn't just a nice theory. We have hard science that backs it up. A study from Duke University found that silence isn't just restful, it is literally regenerative. It can actually help promote new cell growth in the hippocampus. That's the part of your brain that's crucial for memory and emotion.
So let's just break it down nice and simple. On one hand, you've got constant stimulation. Sensory input is high, your brain is overactive and fragmented, and the result is burnout and a total lack of focus. On the other hand, you have intentional stillness. Sensory input is low, your brain gets to do this deep, restorative work, and the result is memory recovery and genuine insight. Okay, so the science is clear, but how do we actually do this in a world that never ever stops? Well, the good news is you don't need to go on a 2-week retreat to Bali. You just need to start building small, intentional pauses into your day. So here are 5 really simple experiments you can try. Take a 60-second neural microbreak between meetings. Just stare out the window. That's it. Or try 1 hour of what ancient yogis called pratyahara, which is just a fancy way of saying withdraw your senses. No screens, no podcasts, just be. Even just eating 1 meal in total silence can make a huge difference. These small acts can create really powerful shifts. So the biggest takeaway here is this. We have to completely reframe what stillness means to us. It's not laziness, it's not a waste of time. It's an essential, active state for your mind to recover and repair itself. Ultimately, you have a choice between these 2 states, a noisy, overstimulated mind, which leads to anxiety and burnout, or a still mind, which cultivates calm, focus, and a deep, real satisfaction that no amount of multitasking is ever going to give you. I want to leave you with this final idea. We're taught to think that growth only happens when we're pushing and striving and doing. But real growth, the kind that leads to insight and creativity and wisdom, well, it needs that quiet soil to even take root. So I'll leave you with a question.
It doesn't have to be some huge commitment. Maybe it's just 5 minutes sitting in your car before you walk into the house. Or maybe it's the first 10 minutes of your morning before you reach for your phone. So think about it. Where will you find your quiet today?